There is one creature on Earth that loves you unconditionally. Not because you are beautiful, successful, or rich, not because you are in a good mood, not because you just fed it. Just like that, always, every day. Scientists conducted an experiment. They scanned dogs' brains while the dogs smelled different scents. Unfamiliar people, unfamiliar dogs, familiar dogs, and their owners. Only one scent activated the pleasure center in the dog's brains. The very same one that, in humans, is responsible for love. It was the scent of the owner. A dog is not just attached to you. It feels toward you what, in human language, is called love. Today, 100 facts about a creature that has lived beside us for 15,000 years, and that we still do not truly know. Block 1. Biology. Fact 1. A dog's nose is the most perfect organ of smell among all known creatures on the planet. A dog smells 10,000 to 100,000 times better than a human. If you smell borscht in a pot, a dog smells every ingredient separately. Onion, carrot, meat, bay leaf, water. Fact 2. Every dog's nose print is unique, just like a human fingerprint. The Canadian Kennel Club has used this for dog identification since 1938. Fact 3. Dogs are able to smell disease. Cancer cells release specific volatile compounds that dogs detect with up to 98% accuracy in clinical trials. Lung cancer, breast cancer, intestinal cancer. Dogs find them by the smell of urine or exhaled air. In some clinics around the world, they are already used in diagnostics. Fact 4. Dogs smell changes in blood sugar levels. People with type 1 diabetes train special alert dogs. When glucose levels drop sharply, which can be life-threatening, the dog wakes the owner, gives a signal, brings the medical kit. Fact 5. A dog's hearing is 4 times sharper than a human's. They hear frequencies from 40 Hz to 65,000. Humans hear from 20 to 20,000. A dog hears ultrasound. That is why ultrasonic whistles work, which humans do not perceive at all. Fact 6. Each dog ear moves independently. 18 muscles control each ear separately. A dog can turn one ear forward and the other backward to hear sounds from 2 directions at the same time. Fact 7. Dogs do not see the world in black and white. That is a myth. They distinguish colors, but differently than humans. They have 2 types of color receptors instead of 3. They distinguish blue and yellow well, but do not see the difference between red and green. A red ball on green grass is almost invisible to a dog. Fact 8. But at dusk, a dog sees much better than a human. A large pupil, high sensitivity to light, a special reflective layer behind the retina, the tapetum. It is exactly what makes a dog's eyes glow in the dark when light hits them. Fact 9. A dog's normal body temperature is 37.5 to 39 degrees. This is higher than the human norm. That is why it is so warm next to a sleeping dog. Fact 10. Dogs do not sweat through their skin. Their only sweat glands are on the pads of their paws. They cool down through breathing. Rapid breathing with an open mouth, in which moisture evaporates from the tongue and respiratory tract. On a hot day, a dog makes up to 300 to 400 breathing movements per minute, compared to the normal 30. Fact 11. A dog's heart beats faster than a human's. In large breeds, 60 to 100 beats per minute. In small breeds, up to 140. In puppies, up to 220. Fact 12. Dogs have no collarbones. This is not a flaw. It is an evolutionary advantage. The absence of a collarbone allows them to take a wader stride while running, increasing speed and jump length. Fact 13. Dogs are facultative carnivores. Unlike cats, they can eat both meat and plant food. Their digestion is adapted to a mixed diet. This is exactly what helped them survive beside humans, eating what remained after humans. Fact 14. The tail is an organ of communication, not just decoration. But wagging the tail does not always mean joy. Direction matters. Wagging to the right means positive emotions. The owner is nearby, everything is fine. Wagging to the left means anxiety. A stranger, uncertainty. A straight tail means confidence and dominance. A tail between the legs means fear or submission. Fact 15. A dog's paw pads are not just a protective layer. They are a complex structure with a fatty layer that works as a shock absorber and thermal insulator. In frost, they do not freeze the way our palms would freeze. The blood circulation system of the paws works on the principle of countercurrent heat exchange, preserving body heat. Block 2. Emotions and behavior. Fact 16. Dogs dream. This is confirmed by neuroscience. During the rapid eye movement phase of sleep, a dog's encephalogram shows activity identical to that which occurs during wakefulness. Twitching paws, quiet barking, eye movement under the eyelids. The dog relives the events of the past day. Fact 17. Small dogs dream more often than large dogs, presumably because their REM sleep phases are shorter and occur more often. A dachshund or toy terrier may have several dreams in one night, while a Great Dane has one. Fact 18. Dogs feel guilt, but not the way we think. The famous guilty look, the lowered head, pinned ears, averted gaze. This is not an admission of guilt, it is a reaction to your tone of voice and body language. Experiments showed that dogs demonstrate a guilty look the same way, both when they really did something wrong and when they did nothing wrong, but the owner came in with an angry face. They read your mood, not their own conscience. Fact 19. But empathy in dogs is real. If you cry, a dog feels it. In an experiment from 2012, it was found that dogs more often approached a crying person than someone who was simply speaking out loud. And they approached specifically with calming behavior, nudging with their nose, placing their head on the person's knees. Fact 20. Dogs are capable of jealousy. This has also been confirmed experimentally. When an owner paid attention to a robotic dog in the presence of the real one, the real dog pushed the owner, got between him and the robot, and sought contact. The behavior was identical to what children demonstrate when a younger brother or sister appears. Here is the first question for you. Has your dog ever shown jealousy toward another animal, a child, or the phone in your hands? Write it in the comments. Fact 21. Dogs can pretend to be sick. Not out of malicious intent. They simply quickly discover that certain behavior brings the desired result. A limp that disappears when you are not looking. A cough that appears exactly before a walk it does not like. This is not deception in the human sense. It is operant conditioning. But the result is the same. Fact 22. Dogs understand fairness. In an experiment, 2 dogs performed the same command. One was given a treat, the other was not. The one that was not given a treat gradually began to refuse to perform the command and turned away. The sense of unfair reward exists not only in humans and primates. Fact 23. Dogs literally smell human fear. When a person is afraid, they release adrenaline and other hormones. The smell of sweat changes, the heartbeat quickens. A dog detects all of this. That is why people say animals sense fear. This is not a metaphor. Fact 24. Dogs cannot lie with body language. Unlike humans, who have learned to hide emotions through facial expressions, a dog does not consciously control its tail, ears, and posture. They always tell the truth with their body. If a dog is happy, you will see it. If it is afraid, you will see that too. Fact 25. Dogs can suffer from depression, loss of an owner, moving, the appearance of a new family member, the birth of a child. All of this can cause apathy in a dog, refusal to eat, loss of interest in games. The symptoms are identical to human depression and are treated with similar methods: attention, activity, and in severe cases, medication. Block 3. Communication with humans. Fact 26. Dogs understand human speech better than was believed even 20 years ago. The average dog understands about 150 words. Some know much more. A border collie named Chaser, studied by scientists from Wofford College, knew the names of more than 1,000 objects and understood grammatical constructions. Fact 27. Dogs react not only to words, but also to intonation. In an experiment with MRI scanning, It was found that the left hemisphere of a dog's brain processes the meaning of words, while the right processes intonation. Exactly the same as in humans. The pleasure center activates only when both match, praise in meaning and praising intonation. Say "bad dog" in a gentle voice. It will hear the gentleness. Say "good dog" in an angry tone. It will hear the anger. Fact 28. Dogs follow a human's gaze. This is a unique ability among animals. Even chimpanzees do this worse. If you look somewhere, a dog will look there too. This is not a coincidence. This is the result of 15,000 years of joint evolution, during which dogs that could read a human gaze gained an advantage. Fact 29. Dogs look humans in the eyes, and because of this both release oxytocin, the hormone of attachment and love, the same mechanism that works between a mother and a child. This is the only animal with which humans develop this biochemical cycle through eye contact. Fact 30. Dogs adapt their behavior to a specific person. They behave differently with an owner and with a stranger, differently with a child and with an adult, differently with a confident person and with an anxious one. They read you and constantly adjust. Fact 31. Dogs use their owner as a secure base, exactly the way small children use their parents. A 2015 study showed that dogs in an unfamiliar environment actively explore it, but only while the owner is nearby. If the owner leaves, activity drops sharply and anxiety appears. The owner returns and exploration resumes. This is called secure attachment. Fact 32. Dogs can ask for help. In experiments where dogs were given a task they could not solve on their own, they did not persist endlessly. They turned toward the human and looked at them, called, attracted attention. Wolves in the same situation continued trying to solve the task themselves. Only dogs learn to ask. Fact 33. Dogs sense when you are coming home in advance. There are several explanations for this. First, they recognize the sound of your specific car or your footsteps. Second, they smell your approach from a distance. Third, and most interestingly, some researchers suggest that they track the concentration of your scent in the house. It dissipates at a constant rate. The dog knows how much time has passed since you left and, accordingly, whether you will return soon. Here is the second question. Does your dog meet you at the door before you have rung or knocked? How many minutes before? Write it. This is genuinely interesting. Fact 34. Dogs can anticipate epileptic seizures in a person 15 to 45 minutes before they begin. The exact mechanism is unknown. Presumably, they detect changes in body odor or behavior that precede the seizure. Alert dogs for people with epilepsy are a real medical practice. Fact 35. Dogs understand human gestures better than any other animals, including our closest relatives, chimpanzees, and bonobos. The pointing gesture is unique in the animal world. Dogs grasp it intuitively without training. Even puppies with no experience communicating with humans follow the pointing gesture correctly. Block 4. Instincts and abilities. Fact 36. Dogs sense Earth's magnetic field. This was confirmed by a 2013 study. Dogs prefer to relieve themselves aligned along the north-south axis, especially clearly on calm days without geomagnetic disturbances. Why they need this is unclear, but the fact was documented in 60 dogs of 70 breeds. Fact 37. Dogs are able to memorize routes of exceptional length and complexity. There have been recorded cases when lost dogs returned home on their own across hundreds of kilometers of unfamiliar terrain. The mechanism is not fully understood. Presumably, it is a combination of magnetoreception, smell, and visual memory. Fact 38. Herding instincts in border collies do not require training. Puppies of this breed begin herding without any training and do it correctly. They go around the herd, maintain a certain distance, and react to the movement of individual animals. This is not learned behavior. It is something that entered the breed's genetics over thousands of years of selection. Fact 39. Dogs can swim instinctively, even those that have never seen water. The movement of Labradors in water does not need to be explained, but not all breeds are equally adapted. Pugs, bulldogs, boxers, Brachycephalic breeds with short muzzles swim poorly and tire quickly. Their body structure is not designed for water. Fact 40. Dogs have a sixth sense about people. They distinguish intentions. In experiments, dogs were offered food by two different people. One intentionally hid the food, the other accidentally dropped it. The dogs behaved differently. They treated the one who hid it intentionally with less trust. They distinguished accident from intent. Fact 41. Dogs learn by observing. If one dog sees another perform a task, it remembers and reproduces it. This is called imitation learning. In puppies, it switches on very early. That is why a puppy raised next to a trained adult dog absorbs many skills without special training. Fact 42. Smell allows dogs to orient themselves in time. Scents dissipate at a predictable rate. When a dog sniffs a trail, it determines not only the direction of movement, but also how long ago an animal or person passed there. A fresh trail smells different from an hour-old or day-old one. Fact 43. Dogs can count within small numbers. Experiments showed that they notice when the result is arithmetically wrong. If 2 objects are hidden behind a screen, and then 3 are shown, the dog looks longer and with more attention. It knows something is wrong. Block 5. History and origin. Fact 44. Dogs are the only animal humans domesticated before the appearance of agriculture. All the others, cows, horses, goats, pigs, were domesticated already by settled farmers. The dog came to humans back in the era of hunters and gatherers, approximately 15 to 40,000 years ago. Fact 45. The debate about exactly where domestication took place is still not closed. 3 main versions: East Asia, the Middle East, Europe. The latest genetic studies indicate that domestication may have happened independently in several places, almost simultaneously. Fact 46. The ancestor of the dog is the gray wolf. All breeds, from the Chihuahua to the Saint Bernard, genetically descend from one population of wolves. At the same time, the dog and the wolf diverged as species not through gradual taming, but rather through self-selection. Wolves that were less aggressive toward humans and able to benefit from proximity to human settlements gradually formed a separate population. Fact 47. The oldest dog breeds are genetically closest to wolves. Akita Inu, Chow Chow, Siberian Husky, Afghan Hound, Saluki. They all belong to the so-called basal breeds. Most modern breeds were developed in the last 200 to 300 years. Fact 48. The dog genome changed more in the process of domestication than the genome of any other domesticated animal. 36 genes connected with brain function and the processing of social information were modified during domestication. The dog literally evolved to understand humans. Fact 49. The first documented burial of a human, together with a dog, dates back 12,000 years. Excavations in Israel. An elderly person and a puppy. The owner's hand rests on the animal's side. Someone 12,000 years ago decided that they should remain together. Fact 50. In ancient Egypt, dogs were considered sacred. The god Anubis was depicted with the head of a dog or jackal. When a family dog died, the whole family shaved their eyebrows as a sign of mourning. Killing a dog in Egypt was a serious crime. Here is the third question. If you lived in ancient Egypt and could choose a dog as a sacred animal, what breed would you choose and why? Write it in the comments. Fact 51. In Japan, there is a breed that became a national symbol, the Akita Inu. Its most famous story is Hachiko, the dog that came to the train station every day to meet his owner. After his owner's death, he came for 9 years in a row until the end of his life. Statues of Hachiko stand in Tokyo and are still considered a symbol of loyalty. Fact 52. In Russia, dogs went to space before humans. Laika became the first living creature in orbit in 1957. Belka and Strelka returned alive in 1960. Strelka later had offspring. One of the puppies was given by the Soviet government to the Kennedy family. Block 6. Records and amazing things. Fact 53. The fastest dog breed is the Greyhound. 72 kilometers per hour in a sprint. This is the second result among land animals after the cheetah. At the same time, greyhounds sleep most of the day, up to 18 hours. The fastest dogs on the planet are also the laziest. Fact 54. The smallest dog in history was a Chihuahua named Millie from Puerto Rico. Height 9 centimeters, weight less than 1 kilogram. At the same time, she lived a full life and gave birth to puppies. Fact 55. The tallest dog in history by height was a Great Dane named Zeus from the USA. Height at the withers, 1 meter 11 centimeters, length from nose to tail, 2 meters 21 centimeters. Standing on his hind legs, 2 meters 20 centimeters. Fact 56. The oldest dog in documented history was an Australian cattle dog named Bluey. He lived 29 years and 5 months. For comparison, the average lifespan of large breeds is 8 to 10 years. Bluey lived more than 3 times longer than the average norm. Fact 57. Dogs with longer muzzles live longer on average than dogs with short muzzles. Brachycephalic breeds, pugs, bulldogs, Pekingese, suffer from chronic breathing problems, heart problems, and overheating. This is the price the breed paid for the human aesthetic preference for cute round faces. Fact 58. Dalmatian puppies are born completely white. Spots appear in the first 3 to 4 weeks of life. This is connected with the expression of the gene responsible for pigmentation. Fact 59. Dogs are the only animals, besides humans, in which altruistic behavior toward representatives of another species has been recorded. Documented cases include dogs rescuing drowning people, staying near people who collapsed from a heart attack until help arrived, and warning about fire without any training. Fact 60. Dogs have a dominant paw, like humans have a dominant hand. About half of dogs are right-pawed, half are left-pawed. It is easy to determine. Watch which paw the dog first touches the ground with when going downstairs or stepping over a threshold. Fact 61. Dogs' noses are always wet. And it is not just because. A moist nose surface captures volatile chemical molecules better. Besides, dogs constantly lick their noses. That way they transfer scent molecules to the Jacobson's organ on the palate, receiving additional chemical analysis. A dry nose does not always mean illness. Sleeping dogs often have dry noses because they do not lick them. Fact 62. Dogs see television differently than humans. Screens with a low refresh rate of up to 50 Hz look like flickering pictures to a dog. Modern screens with a frequency of 85 Hz and higher are perceived by dogs as a continuous image. That is exactly why modern dogs watch television with obvious interest. Older ones watched it less often. Fact 63. Dogs can be infected by yawning. This is one of the signs of empathy in animals. Contagious yawning reacts to the yawning of creatures with which the animal has an emotional bond. Dogs catch yawns from their owners more often than from strangers. Fact 64. There are about 900 million dogs living in the world. Of them, only about 200 million are pets. The rest are stray, village, semi-feral. Most dogs on the planet have never lived in a house and have never received veterinary care. Fact 65. A dog's brain releases oxytocin, the hormone of love and attachment, in response to interaction with its owner. The same hormone is released in a mother during contact with a child. From a neurobiological point of view, what a dog feels toward you is love, not a metaphor. Literally 15,000 years ago, somewhere near someone's fire, one wolf decided to come closer. Not to run away, not to attack, just to come closer. Something in that wolf was different. Maybe less fear, maybe more curiosity. Maybe it was simply hungry and smart enough to understand. Near humans, there is more food. We do not know exactly how it began, but we know what it became. The only alliance in nature between two different species based not on benefit, but on attachment. The dog evolved to understand us. We changed to understand it. We created each other. Every time a dog looks into your eyes, the same thing happens that happened 15,000 years ago by that fire. Two species that chose to be together. That is what a dog is, not just an animal. A living history of humanity. Breeds and diversity. Fact 66. In total, about 350 dog breeds are officially recognized in the world. The Fédération Cynologique Internationale, FCI, officially registers 345. Every breed was created by humans for a specific task: hunting, herding, guarding, searching, companionship. Most breeds have existed for less than 300 years. Fact 67. The most popular breed in the world for the last 30 years has been the Labrador Retriever. The reason is simple: high intelligence, low aggression, indiscriminate attachment, ease of training. The ideal companion, working dog, and therapy dog in one. Fact 68. The smartest breed by most trainability tests is the Border Collie. It learns a new command on average in 5 repetitions and performs it the first time in 95% of cases. For comparison, the average dog learns a command in 25 to 40 repetitions. Fact 69. The oldest existing breed is presumably the Afghan Hound and the Saluki. Genetic analysis shows that they differ minimally from wild ancestors. They were bred in Central Asia and the Middle East for thousands of years as hunting dogs for chasing prey across open terrain. Fact 70. The Chow Chow is one of the few breeds with a black or dark blue tongue. The reason is a high concentration of pigment in the cells of the mucous membrane. Chow Chow puppies are born with a pink tongue, which darkens by 8 to 10 weeks. Fact 71. A Dalmatian is born white, but from birth hears only partially. About 30% of Dalmatians have partial or complete deafness in one or both ears. This is genetically connected with the spotting gene. The same gene that is responsible for the characteristic pattern affects the cells of the inner ear. Fact 72. The Basenji is the only dog breed that does not bark. The anatomy of its larynx is arranged differently than in other dogs. Instead of barking, they make a sound described as a yodel or warble. Otherwise, they communicate quite actively. They whine, grumble, and squeal. Fact 73. Greyhounds are the only dogs mentioned in the Bible by name. In the book of Proverbs, a lion, mighty among beasts and retreating before none. A strutting dog, a goat, and a king secure against revolt. The strutting dog in the original text is a greyhound. Fact 74. The Siberian Husky is one of the few breeds in which heterochromia, different eye colors, is the norm. One eye blue, the other brown. This is not a pathology. It is a breed trait officially allowed by the breed standard. Fact 75. German Shepherds are the most used breed in police and military forces around the world. The reason? A combination of smell, intelligence, controllability, and physical capabilities. The average trained police German Shepherd costs from $10,000 to $15,000. Some specialized service dogs cost several times more. Fact 76. Saint Bernards never wore a barrel of brandy around their neck. This is artistic fiction. The legend arose from an 1820 painting by artist Edwin Landseer, where exactly such a barrel was depicted. The monks of the St. Bernard Hospice, where this breed was raised, called the dogs Barry and used them to search for travelers buried in snow in the Alps without barrels. Fact 77. The Mexican hairless dog Xoloides Cuintli is one of the oldest breeds of the Americas. It was bred by the Aztecs for more than 3,000 years. It was used in religious rituals and as a source of warmth for the sick. The body of a hairless dog heats up more than that of a coated one. The Aztecs believed that this breed helped the souls of the dead find their way to the afterlife. Block 8. Dogs and Science. Fact 78. Dogs helped make several important scientific discoveries. Ivan Pavlov used dogs to discover conditioned reflexes, one of the fundamental principles of neuroscience. His experiments with a bell and food changed the understanding of how learning works in all animals, including humans. Ivan Pavlov Laboratories. Historic reconstruction with dog experiment setup. Vintage scientific atmosphere. Fact 79. Dogs help in therapy for people with many different conditions: post-traumatic stress disorder, autism, anxiety disorders, depression. In clinical studies, interaction with a dog reduces the level of cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases levels of oxytocin and serotonin. The effect is comparable to medication treatment in mild cases. Fact 80. The presence of a dog lowers blood pressure. This is confirmed by numerous studies. In people who pet an unfamiliar dog, blood pressure decreases on average by 10 points within several minutes. Dog owners on average have lower blood pressure than people of similar age and lifestyle without dogs. Fact 81. Dog owners live longer. This is not folk wisdom. These are data from a Swedish study from 2017 that covered 3.5 million people. For people living alone, having a dog reduced the risk of death from cardiovascular diseases by 36%, presumably due to physical activity, reduced stress, and the fight against loneliness. Fact 82. Children who grow up with dogs suffer from allergies and asthma less often. Contact with dog microflora in the first years of life trains the immune system. Studies show a 20 to 30% reduction in the risk of developing allergies in children who lived with a dog from birth. Fact 83. Dogs can diagnose COVID-19 by smell. Studies from 2020 and 2022 showed that trained dogs identify coronavirus infection by the smell of sweat with an accuracy of 83 to 94%. Faster and in some cases more accurate than PCR tests. Fact 84. Dogs help find people under rubble even 72 hours after an earthquake. Search and rescue dogs are one of the most effective tools in disasters. After the earthquake in Turkey in 2023, dogs found living people under the rubble where no equipment produced a signal. Block 9. Strange and little known. Fact 85. Dogs eat grass, and this is normal. Contrary to popular belief, it is not always a sign of nausea. A study showed that less than a quarter of dogs that ate grass vomited afterward. Most ate it simply because they wanted to. Presumably, it is an instinctive fiber supplement in the diet or simply a taste preference. Fact 86. Dogs can cry, but not tears of grief. A Japanese study from 2022 showed that when reunited with their owner after separation, dogs shed tears. The mechanism is the release of oxytocin. The same happens in humans during strong emotions. This is not sadness. This is joy so strong that it is expressed physically. Fact 87. Dogs have a second eyelid. The nictitating membrane. A thin film in the corner of the eye that moves horizontally. It protects the eye from dust and mechanical damage and distributes tear fluid. In humans, only a small fold in the corner of the eye remains from it. A rudiment. Fact 88. Dogs can laugh. Not like humans, but scientists have recorded a specific sound dogs make during play. A forced intermittent exhalation that differs in spectral composition from normal breathing. When this sound was played in dog shelters, other dogs calmed down and demonstrated playful behavior. Fact 89. Dogs do not like hugs. This contradicts our instincts. We hug when we want to show love. But for a dog, restriction of movement is stress. Most dogs show signs of discomfort during hugs. They turn their muzzle away, press their ears down, lick their lips. They tolerate it but do not enjoy it. Fact 90. Dogs can determine the time of day. Not by clocks, but by the concentration of smells in the house. During the day, smells dissipate. Apparently, a dog senses how much the owner's morning smell has faded and based on that, understands whether the owner will return soon. This explains why dogs go to the door exactly when the owner is already close. Fact 91. Some dogs can open doors. This is not an accident and not a one-time trick. There are breeds, especially Labradors and Border Collies, that independently master door handles through trial and error. After that, they use this skill regularly, especially when they really want to go where they are not allowed. Fact 92. Dogs are afraid of thunder, not because of the sound, but because of static electricity. It is the change in the air's electric field before a thunderstorm that causes anxiety in many dogs, even before the first thunder sounds. Some owners use anti-static vests that reduce the reaction. Fact 93. Dogs prefer earning food to simply receiving it for free. In a series of experiments, dogs were offered two options: press a lever and receive a treat, or receive the same treat for free. Most chose the lever. Researchers call this the effect of contra-freeloading. Animals care about the process of obtaining, not only the result. Fact 94. Dogs distinguish mathematically wrong from correct. Rudimentary numerical intuition. If one object is hidden behind a screen, another is added, and the screen is opened showing 3 objects, the dog looks at it longer than if 2 were shown. Violation of expectation. Basic understanding of number. Fact 95. Dogs have personal preferences in music. In shelters, researchers played different genres. Heavy metal caused anxiety and growling. Pop music caused a neutral reaction. Classical music caused calmness and reduced activity. Reggae and soft rock worked best. Dogs lay down and stopped barking. Block 10. Dog and human. Final facts. Fact 96. The bond between dog and owner changes the biochemistry of both. After 10 minutes of interaction, both the human and the dog show increased oxytocin and serotonin and reduced cortisol. This effect is stronger in pairs with a long history of relationships. The longer you are together, the deeper the biochemical bond. Fact 97. Dogs react to unfair treatment of their owner. If a stranger treats a dog's owner rudely, the dog does not take food from their hands. Even if it takes food from neutral strangers, it chooses not to eat rather than accept a treat from the person who offended its human. Fact 98. Humans talk to dogs differently than to other people or to cats. A special dog voice, higher, slower, simpler constructions, is not accidental and not sentimentality. Studies showed that dogs react much better to such speech. This communication style arose evolutionarily, precisely because it works. Fact 99. Dogs remember you for a long time. Cases where a dog recognized its owner after several years of separation have been documented many times. Neurobiologically, a dog's olfactory memory has a direct path to the emotional centers of the brain without intermediate layers of processing. The owner's smell is an instant, direct memory. Fact 100. When a dog looks at you, it sees you. Not just a source of food, not just a familiar object. It distinguishes your facial expressions, reads your mood, hears your voice, and knows your smell. It remembers what happened yesterday and anticipates what will happen tomorrow. It misses you when you are gone. It is happy when you return. 15,000 years ago, someone took a step towards someone else, and that step changed the history of both species. A dog is not just an animal beside a human. It is part of what we became. We changed together, and apparently, we will continue to change together. If you have a dog, hug it today. Even if it does not really like hugs, it will understand. It always understands.